Hi guys. On the Keshe plasma technology, I found out about it about about the third week in August. And in September, I decided I wanted to start gathering supplies to make some of this stuff. And I didn't really understand it, but I knew that it was right. I had to understand it inside. And I started really watching everything available, literally everything available, from um, the knowledge seekers workshops to the plasma workshops to the kids teaching to you name it, whatever they had. Um, about 2 weeks ago, before I'd gone to bed, I'd read a thing I'd watched a video where one of the people said, I'm having a hard time putting my head around how the inline and the outline on the plasma um, generators could be both in and out at the same time. And that night I slept on it, I guess, because I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning and got up and started making sketches. And this is what I had 2 weeks ago. I realized that the way it pulses, you have the energy goes from the inside out and from the outside in. So this is just the end of the large tube with the smaller tube inside and the single coil that goes around the inside of the smaller coil. So you have the energy going from here into here because this is the inflow and this is the outflow. And then as the end builds up, it becomes the high um, the high energy and it flows back out again. And this all happens very fast. Now, when it gets to the outside, you've got the outside that's going out in all directions, while the inside is pulling. The other way, so you've got the outside going in all directions and going in, and while the inside is pulling. And then the inside is pushing and the outside is pulling. So what works within the coils themselves also works in the rings. Now, I wasn't really sure why I dreamt this until I realized that this is the car coil. Oops. Come on. Come on. All right. Try it this way. Um, 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 um. Okay. It wasn't until the next day that I realized this is the car coil. And there was something about this, the way I saw them, that bugged me a little bit, but I understood that it meant how the dynamics of going in and out will make the other one alter in such a way that it's going out. It's going out when the other's going in, and vice versa. And going down to the center balls, even. So you have this energy going back and forth. Well, something did bug me about that, but the thing about this first stream was realizing the way the flow alternates, bounces back and forth. And this is another way it bounces back and forth. So, when you look at a stack, let me back out again. In one pulse, this is going out, this is going in, this is going out. You've got this thing going like this. In the next pulse, you've got this going in, out, in. So you get this pulsing thing going. And this is, we're talking very, very fast, probably, I don't know, 1,000 times a minute. Very fast. Well, that was a week ago. Last night I woke up and I realized something, and that was that if you took the reason why the car unit thing looked so strange to me, the reason why it was exaggerated this way. When you're making the car units, you're looking down in this container and you're placing it in and you're gluing it in, and it faces you the way you're used to it facing you. Then you have the other half and it's also down here and you're gluing it in and it's part of the cap. And again, it's facing you the way you're used to the coils doing. So you know this coil goes that way, that coil goes that way, so on. So this is a car unit, but what it's saying is that when we make them, they're facing each other. And I think this makes a big difference in the dynamics of the energy that goes back and forth between them. So you have this huge flash of energy that's coming out this way. Now, what if those two was connected to another one? But not for a car unit, for a stacker unit. Instead of having them, I'm sure when people do it, they set them so that they're all facing up the way they see them when they make them. But what if you had two of them facing each other and not connected the same way the car unit is not connected? I think you have a tremendous amount of this energy flashing back and forth, super pulses, spreading out in all directions in super pulses, because they aren't connected and because they're only interacting at the speed of their plasma pulses. So you have this tremendous plasma energy going back and forth and building up and filling a huge area. Then the top unit would be faced up, like you're used to having it. I think facing it down would probably confuse things. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it'd be better to have it facing down, facing the back of this one. At any rate, you'd have your top one being fed by the out of your car unit, and you'd have the in of your car unit going this way. But the thing about this whole dynamics is you realize that the out is the in, that the in is the out. Because when it's pulsing this way, it's going out that way. When it's drawing in, it's pulsing in this way. So yes, you get out and in the same line from the same unit. And that's what people don't understand. This isn't a electrical field. This is a field dynamic. The word that came to me a week ago was highest potential. You go from your highest potential to your lowest potential, and it has to flow in that direction. But when this gets filled up, it becomes the highest potential, and it flows out in this direction. When this gets filled up, it becomes the highest potential, and it flows down in this direction. So you've got the magnetic high potential flowing into the gravic high potential, flowing into the magnetic high potential, flowing into the magnetic high potential, and there you have it. So I think this would give a very interesting. Well, I want to make it. My first unit is going to be this one. because I have to see. Well, see, if my first one is a different one, it's going to make it hard for me to know what the energy difference is. I want this to be my first 3 stack. And I am making a couple car units too, because I'm going to be nano coating them all together. But anyway, I needed to talk to you about this. I needed to explain what I'm seeing. Now I'm not seeing this. I'm seeing these stacked this way as a total bonding unit between the 3 units through their central cores, and the dynamic out energy is coming out through the interaction of these 3 coils here, these 2 coils specifically, and this one. Anyway, I wanted to know what you think. Does this make sense to you? There'll be no wires whatsoever between these. It'll be just like the auto unit. Am I making sense or am I dreaming nonsense? Anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Oops. Okay, I had to add this on. This occurred to me just when I was watching the little video I just made to see what boo-boos I made. And I realized what was getting to me about the face-to-face. When they're face-to-face, the outer magnetic coil that goes opposite to the inner coil, on one it's going that way, and the other it's going that way. So you've got this kind of dynamic going between the two of them, because that's the way they're facing each other. If you did it the other way around, it's the same thing. That one's going around that way, this one's going around this way. But they're going like that. So it's not like in a regular stacker unit with all the magnet ones would be going that way and all the graphic ones would be going that way, or vice versa. You've got this opposing, let's see, this opposing thing going on, and the same with the inner graphic ones. And I think somehow the interaction between those two opposing forces is what's caused was what torques up the energy to the point that a 2-stacker car unit is almost more powerful than a 3-stacker generating unit. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, thank you. Oops. Okay, one more thing, because it just occurred to me as I was looking at the little add-on I just made that answers my question about this stack. It'd be best to have this face up away from it. So you have this facing that way, that facing that way, that facing that way, and you'll end up with the same type of dynamic here that you have with this going this way and that going that way. So you have this going just with the magnetic rings, and you have the same type of counter dynamics going with the inner rings. Okay? And you still have this connecting force between the centers. Okay, let me know what you think, please. Thank you. Sorry, one more thing. If this keeps happening, I'm going to have an hour-long tape here. When I was watching this one, it occurred to me we might not even need this line between these two. If this is doing this dynamic and this is doing this dynamic, their fields are going to connect them, isn't it? Or do we need to have the middle one connected to something? Or perhaps the middle one could be the out lead, and either the top or the bottom or both could come out to be the other lead. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. Lordy, how many stacker units am I going to have to make to try these different things out? Wow. So I guess my first unit, instead of putting it together neatly with cute little coils and stuff, I'm going to have to use some sort of a plug-in situation where I can plug them in different configurations. The thing is I don't have anybody else that's been making these that can help me compare what's going on. I really need to have a buddy that's in on this with me. Anyhow, okay, that's the last of it, I hope.